This is my review of Led Zeppelin's self-titled debut album. It was released in 1969 and produced by Jimmy Page. So this album, I still remember getting this album. Actually got it the same day I got Houses of the Holy. I just got to the store. So it was, like sometime summer 2008. I got this and House of the Holy at the same time, which is kind of unfortunate for this album because I like House of the Holy more, so I kind of neglected this album at first. I didn't really listen to it a lot, and it's really never been one of my favorite Led Zeppelin albums. Not that I think it's a bad album or anything, it's just that compared to some of the other albums, I just haven't listened to this one quite as much, even though I have listened to it a lot. It's just never been one of my go-to Led Zeppelin albums. So it opens with Good Times, Bad Times, which was pretty much my early favorite off the album. I think it's a great song to start the album, and it's really, I forgot, so I guess I'll go into mention the lineup of the band just for anybody that happens to not know it, which is probably not going to happen for anybody that actually bothers to watch this. But you have Robert playing vocals, Jimmy Page guitar, John Paul Jones bass and some other things, and John Bonham drums. So yeah, that's the lineup, and Good Times, Bad Times just right away shows, I think, what all the guys were capable of at the time. They just come out and just start kicking ass right off the bat with this one. It's got, I think Bonham's drums really stand out in it, but just everybody on it, their playing's great, and it's great album opener. Second song, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. This one took me a little longer to get into. It's kind of slower and acoustic type of thing, which Jimmy wanted to do kind of the light and shade thing. He didn't want everything to be all heavy. He wanted to have kind of different dynamics to the band's music, which is really cool. It took me a little while to get into this song. I actually kind of remember the first time I was listening to it that I really was like, wow, this is really good. Which I was riding in a car somewhere, I think by Lake Erie. Anyway, just kind of listening to it on headphones. But yeah, great song. Loved Jimmy's acoustic playing in it. The third song, You Shook Me. This is one of the songs that I think a lot of people really like this song, and to me it's I don't know, just kind of gets a little boring. Not that it's bad. I enjoy the playing a lot, but it's just kind of this slow older blues cover. To me, it goes on a little bit long, gets a little bit boring, and kind of one of my less favorite tracks on the album. But it's still not bad. It's just not my favorite. The fourth song, Dazed and Confused, I think is another just really good. Really good at showing what the band is capable of. It's got really powerful vocal from Robert Plant, and Jimmy Page does his trippy violin bow thingy for a while in it, and then that's pretty cool. And then when the band comes in from that, it's really awesome. So just another really strong track. Fifth song, Your Time's Gonna Come. I really like the organ intro from John Paul Jones. It's got some cool, just some really cool things on it. I think it's a really catchy song. Pretty sure Jimmy Page is playing pedal steel on it, which he has some just really cool sound and stuff going on there. So another really good track. The sixth song, Black Mountainside, is kind of acoustic guitar instrumental, and it's cool. I like it. The seventh song, Communications Breakdown. This one I didn't really write a lot about because it's just a kind of really ass-kicking song, I think. Just another really great song from them. The eighth song, I Can't Quit You Baby. This one, I kind of like it mainly for Jimmy's guitar. It's another one of those kind of slow blues things, and just kind of not my favorite song here, but not a bad one either. And the ninth track and the final track, How Many More Times, I kind of always forget about this one. I like it while it's on, but it's another one of those songs that just goes on a little bit, and for that reason I think it's never been one of my favorites. I remember definitely when I used to listen to this album when I was younger, I would kind of get tired of the album before this point, I think, and usually stopped listening like halfway through the last song. But that's not to say it's a bad album or anything. I think that there's a lot of good things about this album. I think that just compared to the stuff they did later, I don't like it nearly as much, so I don't listen to it as much, but it's still a really strong debut album. I think it sounds really good. You can hear all the different instruments and everything really clearly. There's a good depth to the sound, if that makes sense. Just a really good sounding album, I think. But not my favorite Zeppelin album. I think that just some of the longer, slower blues stuff to me just gets a little bit boring. I think that that's what holds it back a little bit compared to some of the later stuff for me. So Led Zeppelin's first album, definitely a really strong debut album. Not my favorite of their albums, but I think it's actually a pretty decent place to start with them because it kind of just shows you, exactly who they are right away and kind of what their thing was. So yeah, Led Zeppelin, definitely check it out if you're interested in the band.